Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It has been a hot minute since I posted a video. A lot of things going on in my personal life that have kept me from work, so I kind of, was focusing on that because I'm a mom, I'm a wife. Things happen that I need to take care of aside from YouTube and work. So, I wanted to talk to everybody about my new teaching job with Cambly Kids. Now, for those of you who decided to stay with a different company or do VIPKid Global or do like NGU, I know there's HLG, I don't know if that's right, don't quote me on that, but there were a lot of options for people, and I just wanted to talk about my personal experience with Cambly. Personally, Cambly has been amazing for me. So I wanted to talk about some of the things that are a little bit different than what we're used to with VIPKid. So the first thing, the biggest thing that I think a lot of us had to worry about with VIPKid is the cancellation policy. If you cancel outside of 12 hours, there's no penalty. If you cancel a lot of them outside of 12 hours, like for the same day, like consecutively, they will block your schedule to regulars only. But as long as your students are marked as your regulars, they can still book you. No big deal. Like, you don't go under review. They don't take money. You don't even have to send them documentation. Like, I was really sick and they're like, we don't need a doctor's note. I'm like, I'm going to send it to you anyway because that's what I'm used to. Here it is. They're like, okay. We didn't need that, but all right. So that's the first thing. And that's a really awesome thing because not that VIPKid didn't understand, it just, the cancellation policy wasn't as stress-free as it was. So if we were sick, we were stressing about getting better, seeing the doctor, and canceling classes and that money. If I'm sick with Cambly, I cancel and I tell them, hey, I'm sick. That's it. That's it. The second thing, you can message your students and your parents freely. You can pull up your student's profile, send them a message. Hey, check this out before class. Send them a worksheet. Hey, we're going to work on this today. Don't forget to practice, blah, 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 blah. Or if you had to cancel, hey, I had to cancel for this reason. I'm so sorry. Having the freedom to be able to communicate back and forth is amazing. I love that feature. The third thing is that we are totally not used to as VIPKid teachers is a built-in translator in your classroom. In your classroom, a built-in translator. And does Cambly want you to use it? They sure do. Absolutely. If you have an older student, say like 12, 14 years old, and you know that cognitively they can answer these big open-ended questions, but there are some words in English that they didn't understand, type it out in their native language. Say it in English after they've read it and allow them time to answer. I don't want to say it breaks the communication barrier, but it makes it a little bit easier. Like if you're trying to explain something that they may not be familiar with, a slang term, or just like a big open-ended question, like something like, what are you passionate about? They may not know the word passionate in English, but they may know it in their native language. So you could ask them using the translator, which is awesome. But it also goes the other way. If they send you a message that they want to tell you something in their language, Arabic, Japanese, Korean, Chinese, whatever, you can translate it, what they said, in the chat box. Similar to if you have WeChat like that, or when we got feedback with VIPKid, you could translate it. It'll do it immediately. Sorry, still a little sick. But with the built-in translator, it kind of opens up communication, if that makes sense. Okay, so cancellation policy. Oh, I remember the last thing now. Lost my train of thought for a minute. So the last thing that I think, it's kind of a couple things rolled into one, but one of my favorite things is there's no pressure to finish the slides. If you don't finish the slides, guess what? You don't finish the slides. If you don't even want to do the slides, they have a whole library of things that you can pull up on a PowerPoint. Yes, there are some teachers who will bring in Google Slides, share their screens and stuff like that. I'm not that tech savvy, guys. I can't do it. And my husband laughs at me all the time because I'm like, how do I work the Spectrum TV app with the Apple remote? Like, I'm not even kidding you. I'm that person. So the fact that I don't have to go gather other resources, I can just pull it up from their system is amazing. Also, you'll get students that are in like a really high level class and they can't read yet. But guess what? You don't have to do everything on the slides. You can use the slides as a starting point for conversation. Teach them sentence structure, proper grammar, without even touching the slides. Now, this is kind of where you have to look at yourself as a teacher and really focus on things you can see and hear with your students' strengths and weaknesses. Strengths and weaknesses. Because that will really help you find a good jumping off point in those slides. For example, I have a student who has great conversation skills. However, she can't read. She asked me to learn how to spell, read, and write in English. Cool. So I want to make sure she's still getting the listening and comprehension things in the slides, but I also want to make sure that we're focusing on what she wants to learn. So what I did is I would pick a few vocabulary words and turn them into a blending exercise. Old, bold, told, cold, fold, things like that. Will, bill, pill, things like that. Sing, ding, ring. Just basic blending. So she's still getting the vocabulary and everything, but we've also taken that and put it into phonics. So that is, it's just a mind-blowing concept to have that freedom as a teacher. Now, it's super foggy out. I just noticed that. So if you're like me and you were never a teacher, you may be thinking, wow, that sounds super scary. But it's not. It's really, really not. If you have any type of like interpersonal skills where you can talk to someone and have a conversation and notice things about them and use those things to contribute to the conversation, that's kind of what you're doing in these classrooms, especially with the students who tell you what they want to learn and what they don't. So that's been my take on Cambly for right now. I am going to post some more videos about Cambly probably in the next couple weeks. As you can see, I got Christmas decorated, but holy crapola, it is foggy. Wow. Okay, sorry, I had to show you guys that I live in Florida and we never get seasons, so fog in the winter is like, whoa. Back to the topic. So I wanted to let you know also what countries I'm teaching students in now. So I do have some children in Taiwan, Japan, Korea, Saudi Arabia. I've had a couple in Brazil and Turkey, but most of my students are from Taiwan and Saudi Arabia. Which, if you don't know anything about those countries, ask your students. Ask what their favorite food is. Ask what their town is like. The same thing you did with VIPKid. Ask those get to know you questions. And just have fun. These kids are really here because they want to learn English. And a lot of them will say that their favorite class is Cambly. So if you are scared at all about making this transition, don't be. And that's coming from someone with horrible, horrible, crippling anxiety. You don't need to be nervous about this. Cambly is amazing. The students, the families, the support team is amazing. If you have any questions, let me know down below. I will leave my referral link for anybody who's curious. But if you have any questions, leave me a comment and I'll answer it in the next video. So I hope everybody has an awesome Friday and I'll see you guys next week.